1. The Stranger on Sycamore Hill. There's something magical about summer evenings in the Midwest warm air that hugs your skin, fireflies blinking like sparks of gold, and the kind of silence that only small towns can gift you. I grew up in a quiet town outside Bloomington, Illinois, and every summer, my cousin Levi and I would stay at our grandparents' farmhouse out on Sycamore Hill. It was the kind of place where kids ran barefoot, lemonade was homemade, and nights were spent chasing stars on the roof. But one summer July of 2017 something happened that I still can't explain. Something that ended the way our summers used to feel, innocent. Levi had just turned 17. I was 16, and we thought we were invincible. That night, we were staying up late, drinking soda and playing cards on the screened porch when we noticed the sound of gravel shifting out on the long driveway. My grandparents lived at the end of a dead and dirt road. No one came up that road unless they were family, or lost, or something else. I walked to the edge of the porch and looked through the screen. A tall figure was walking up the driveway, slow and steady, like he knew exactly where he was going. He wasn't holding a flashlight, and his face was hard to make out in the dark, but he was wearing what looked like a light windbreaker, odd, considering it was still 80 degrees outside. "Maybe it's Grandpa," Levi whispered, coming up beside me. But we both knew it wasn't. Grandpa had gone to sleep 2 hours ago. The man didn't turn toward the house. He walked to the side of the barn and stopped, standing perfectly still, facing the wall. Levi and I didn't move. "What the hell is he doing?" I finally said. Levi shook his head. "I don't know. Should we go out there?" "No," I snapped. "We should wake Grandpa." But when we quietly crept upstairs and gently knocked on their bedroom door, no one answered. I tried the knob. Locked. I called Grandpa's cell. No signal. Neither of us had service. Something about Sycamore Hill always did that. Dead zone. So we went back downstairs, cautiously peeking through the porch screen. He was gone. Gone. Not walking. Not visible. Just gone. Levi, being the braver of the two of us, or dumber, decided to grab a bat and go check outside. I begged him not to, but you can't tell Levi anything once he's made up his mind. I stayed at the screen door, my heart rattling like an empty soda can in the wind. He walked to the barn. "Hello," he called out. And no answer. He circled the barn slowly. "Anyone out here?" Still nothing. Until the lights in the barn flicked on. Neither of us had touched the switch. "Levi," I screamed. He ran back to the porch so fast he nearly slipped. "What did you see?" I gasped. He shook his head, face pale. "Nothing." But when the light turned on, I swear to God I heard breathing. Right next to me. We locked the porch door, barricaded it with 2 chairs, and stayed up until dawn, staring out into the dim field as the sun slowly crawled up behind the trees. The next day, Grandpa insisted he hadn't heard a thing. Grandma said we must have imagined it. But that wasn't even the scariest part. That afternoon, Levi and I went out to the barn together in the daylight. We figured we'd find nothing. But when we opened the side door, we found a chair in the center of the room. And next to it, a small plastic cassette recorder. The tape was still inside. Levi hit play, and there it was. Breathing. Slow, heavy, deliberate breathing. And just before the tape ran out, a whisper. I was just watching. We never went back to Sycamore Hill. 2. The Red Canoe. Every July, my mom's side of the family rents a huge lake house in upstate New York. It's like a tradition: cousins, board games, too much grilled corn, and long lazy afternoons drifting in kayaks or swimming across the water. The lake's called Beaver Hollow, and it's one of those places that looks like it was built for postcards. Deep green trees, foggy mornings, water, so still it feels holy. But what happened in the summer of 2020 changed everything I felt about that lake. It started on the third day of our trip. I was out early, way earlier than usual, because I couldn't sleep. The air was still cool, dew clinging to every leaf and railing. I took my sketchbook, planning to sit by the dock and draw. But when I stepped outside, I noticed something strange in the fog. There was a red canoe drifting across the water. Slowly, like someone was paddling it, but I couldn't see anyone. I blinked, rubbed my eyes. Maybe it was the neighbors or someone from the rental across the cove. I watched it glide along for a few more seconds. Then it turned sharply toward our dock. Still, I saw no paddles, no arms, no person. Just a red canoe, moving on its own. I backed up into the house and didn't tell anyone. Later that day, I brought it up casually at lunch. "Hey, anyone know if someone has a red canoe around here?" My Uncle Brad looked up. "Red canoe? You serious?" "Yeah," I said. "Saw it this morning. Just drifting." "Why?" He looked at my aunt, then at my mom. "That's weird." Because the red canoe belonged to the family who owned this place before us. There was a story, years ago, like local lore, that their teenage son took it out one night during a storm and never came back. They say he tried to cross the lake alone and drowned. I felt a cold weight settle in my chest. "Did they ever find him?" I asked. My mom shook her head. "No, but every few years, someone swears they see that red canoe again. Always early morning. Always alone that night. I dreamt I was in the canoe, sitting in it, staring down into the black water, and something was staring back. I woke up sweating. The next day, I couldn't shake the curiosity. I woke up early again before the sun even cleared the treetops and walked down to the dock with my phone flashlight. I sat there in silence. No sketchbook this time. Just waiting, and I swear on everything I saw it again, the red canoe, except this time. It wasn't empty. There was someone sitting in it. A boy, maybe 17 or 18, wearing what looked like a hoodie, head bowed, hair wet and stringy. I stood up, frozen. He didn't paddle. He didn't move. He just sat there, drifting, until the canoe bumped gently against our dock, and then slowly, like a puppet on strings, he looked up at me. His eyes were sunken, pale, like cloudy glass. I stepped back. My legs felt like jello. He didn't speak, didn't move. Then he smiled, a wide, unnatural grin. I turned and ran back up the hill, through the grass, into the house. Everyone was asleep. I didn't say a word. Later that day, when we all went down for a swim, the red canoe was gone. No trace of it. I searched the shore, checked behind the neighbors' docks. Nothing. That night, I was brushing my teeth when I noticed something scratched into the foggy mirror. "Want a ride?" Double quotes. No one believed me. I didn't sleep again for the rest of that trip. 3 years later, my cousin Eliza sent me a text. She was back at the lake house with friends for the weekend. The message just said, "You told me about the red canoe, right? Because I swear it was sitting at the dock this morning, but no one's here but us." I never replied. 3. The locked unit on 6C. The summer I turned 30. I moved into a new apartment in downtown Detroit. It wasn't anything fancy, just a 5th-floor unit in an older brick building with faded green hallways and a creaky elevator that sounded like it was powered by ghosts. Still, I loved it. Cheap rent, walking distance to everything, and a rooftop that gave a killer view of the skyline. I had just broken up with someone, and this apartment felt like a new start. I spent my first few weeks decorating, hitting the weekend markets, and meeting neighbors. Most of them kept to themselves, except for this old guy named Frank on the 6th floor. He'd always be sitting near the mailboxes, mumbling to himself, sipping something from a dented thermos. One time, when I was picking up a package, Frank looked at me and said, "You hear her yet?" I blinked. "Hear who?" He just laughed more like wheezed and said, "You will." I chalked it up to him being harmlessly weird. Every building has one, but 3 weeks into living there, I started noticing strange sounds late at night. A soft, dragging noise. Sometimes a knock. Not like a knock-knock, but like someone tapping with one finger. Always around 2 or a.m., always from upstairs. Problem is, the unit directly above mine, 6C, was vacant. The landlord had told me it was under long-term renovation, sealed up, no tenant, but the noises persisted. I tried ignoring it. Played white noise. Slept with a fan on. But one night, around 2:43 a.m., I woke up to the sound of my smoke detector beeping. Not because of smoke, just one loud, glitchy beep. Then silence, then again tap. 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 From above. I sat up. My heart thudded so hard I thought it would rip through my ribs. I couldn't help it, I had to check. I grabbed a hoodie and my phone and took the elevator to the 6th floor. The hallway was empty, lit only by one flickering light near the fire exit. The door to Unit 6C had 3 locks on it, more than any other door, and something had scratched into the paint around the peephole. It read, "Don't open unless you want to stay." I stepped back. That's when I heard it. From the other side of the door. Not tapping this time. Crying, a soft, desperate whimper. The kind that claws at your chest and makes you want to help, even when your instincts are screaming not to. I leaned in. "Hello," the crying stopped. And then a voice, my voice, whispered back, "Let me out." I froze. That wasn't an echo. That was a recording. My voice. Saying something I had never said. I ran back downstairs into my apartment, slammed the door, locked it. Slept on the couch with every light on. The next morning, I went straight to the building manager. "Hey, I think someone's broken into Unit 6C or something." I heard noises. Crying. He frowned. "You must be confused. That unit's sealed. No one's been in there for months. Keys are locked in the office." I asked if he'd open it just to check. He hesitated, but finally agreed. We took the elevator up. He unlocked the 3 bolts, turned the knob, and pushed open the door. The unit was empty, dusty wood floors, peeling walls. No furniture. No lights, but the thing that made my stomach twist. There were fresh footprints in the dust. Barefoot. Child-sized. Leading from the center of the room to the wall. And stopping. That night, I didn't sleep. I moved my mattress into the living room, but it didn't help. Around 2:47 a.m., I got a text from an unknown number. It said, "Come upstairs. We have your voice." The attached audio file played a clip of me singing in the shower from 2 days ago. I moved out the next morning. I didn't even finish the lease. A few months later, I saw a Reddit thread titled, "Haunted Buildings in Detroit." And someone had commented, "Anyone ever stay at my old building? There's this one, Unit 6C. They say it's not haunted. It's hungry."